Well, let's welcome in Shreyash Devalkar, who's with us now, head of equity at Axis Mutual Fund. Shreyash, good morning. Good to have you with us here. Thanks for your time. As a local money manager, Shreyash, what is your sense and what is your team's sense on what markets are likely to do from here? How much does the cloud of US-China full-blown trade war lifting a little bit, clearing a little bit, help equities, help us get a bit of a lift? So let's just start with that and then we'll get into what you like, don't like, etc. Go on.
Sure. There are three things happening actually around. One is obviously the de-escalation of conflict between India and Pakistan. And that is obviously one of the key measure, and because of which obviously the market has also gone up in last few days. Especially on your question of your China and the negotiations there. So with US-China agreement to reduce tariff almost for now 90 days, and that reciprocal tariffs are now the history. So with that, the focus at least will shift to how the global growth will shape up. So the uncertainty, indecision, which was actually hurting most of the sectors, most of the global capex cycle and global growth cycle, with this they coming to a conclusion probably over the next 90 days, that indecision will go away. And in our opinion, generally the drag on the global growth, which has been there around 0.5, 0.3% of that may come off. So that is a really good news. So that is first time thing to start with, and whatever exporting companies out of India, that will be a positive way. That is the end clients will start taking decisions as such. Now the next step of will start with what are the real benefits to us with this China plus one trade, which companies will shift here, which companies are actually trying to set up plants in US. There are some companies which are talking about setting up plant in US. There are some companies, global companies, which are coming in India and setting up plant in India on the China plus one policy. So these two are the key thought processes for us, and we are tracking and getting into more details of all our investing company and the universe as to what exactly will shape up there. And that will chart a part of portfolio in a way forward, because the easy trade, which is, yes, the overhang on global growth is behind, or is going to be behind, if not today, but in 3 to 6 months, that probably is already in price. That what you are seeing, the sharp move in IT, etc., in last in yesterday's move especially.
Shreyas, hi. Thank you for joining us this morning. So let's talk about the pockets of the market that you like the most, given that things are still in a phase of transition, so to speak. Purely from an earnings and valuation perspective, earnings growth, that is, potential earning growth and valuations, where do you see maximum comfort?
To that, actually, when it comes to growth, if you look at the broader growth numbers are not as exciting. Obviously, for India, for some time now, it's the macro which is good, has helped a lot. In that macro, especially the currency, the forex reserve, fiscal deficit, and especially the liquidity which is being infused at various point in time by RBI. That is also helping a lot. And in all this context of all these things, one need to also look at the volume growth numbers. And when you look at that, and if you go by especially the recent result season, and if you go sector by sector, then there is not much positivity on as far as the volume growths are concerned. So if you just start talking about, say, auto growth. Now in auto, the volume growth is subdued. Even now in staples, it remains subdued, barring one company, or only the positive I would call out is there is no further deterioration. So that is definitely a positive. But otherwise, the growth numbers, if you take even the credit growth numbers and the deposit growth numbers, it has not deteriorated, but absolutely these numbers are not, as of now, good. So in this context of good macro and not so good bottom-up growth numbers in various key sectors of investment. Obviously, in mid and small cap, there are always some bottom-up stocks, but in the key sectors of economy, the growth numbers not being good, there goes back, the viewpoint goes back to the risk-reward framework on the relative valuation basis. And in that, now more and more. So probably last 6 months ago, we also took that call, yes, because banking as a sector has underperformed over last 6 years, and that's where the valuations are good, and then it should be the at forefront. In my opinion, now such calls will be at back burner, and you need to really get into the details of the individual sectors and companies. Now, just based on good liquidity, the entire sector, banking sector doing well, may or may not be the right thing from here on, because there also that somewhat the catch up has already happened, and the valuations are in the context of relatively slower growth. So we are really focusing on individual stock across sectors. It may be in pharma. Pharma also has shown some correction. It may be in IT. It is in banking and lenders, especially. Lender space also looks good. But there is no particular bias towards a sector per se now.
Okay, all right. Hi, Shreyas. Good morning and good to see you in. I wanted your take on Indian hotels, the travel and tourism space. I think that was one of the stocks that you had in your portfolio. Aviation as well as travel and tourism stocks came in for some profit taking, but now the world is a better place to live in, because the border tensions have cooled off as well. And it appears geopolitical tensions on the whole are cooling off. How would you approach this theme, keeping in mind that some of these stocks have already had a very, very good run?
Right. So as far as travel and tourism as a sector is concerned, that sector has started doing well over the last 2-3 years. It's not actually today's story. And that's where obviously it is in price. But point is that whenever any stock, particularly, and not only in this sector, it can be retail or it can be in any other sector, whenever it is a high valuation, we give importance to certain other aspects of the industry structure per se. The aspect of industry structures are how is the market share, how the market share is growing, whether there is a monopoly, duopoly kind of situation. Because if market structure is in your favor, then the business cycles you can bear with. One can trim the position somewhere here and there, which is okay based on the small short term because of maybe the war-like situation, and it could have been there could have been some impact on the earnings of some of these names, but over a period of time, if the market shares are growing and companies are showing that, and the industry structure is evolving in their favor, I think that is the key criteria for long-term investment. While near-term and short-term calls one may take based on the near-term numbers.
Okay, all right. No, absolutely. And I think, some of this stuff really interesting and good to track. By the way, Shreyas, the market has taken a bit of a dip, and maybe I can just quickly mention it. 160 points down now. So we're at the, I should say, 15-minute low, because that's how long we've been trading. That's it. Yeah, I mean, market breadth, 1450 stocks are higher and about 900 stocks are lower at this point in time. But there are some new additions as well. Top of the volume board, Redington was not there. Redington is up about 6%. Stocks at about 276 right now. There is Sagility, which I saw right at start. It had gains, but it's got large volumes on it now as well. Sagility is up about 5%. Birla Corp, we'll have the management with us in just a bit. 6% gains there, 1350 or so. There is India Glycols, there is EPAC Durables, Godfrey Phillips is up about 3.5-4%, decent sized volumes. There is KPI Green, which is up about 3% or so. So this is a pretty decent looking screen, in terms of broader markets and broader stocks, even as the Nifty is down a little bit. By a little bit, I mean about 0.75% or so. So that's the picture which is emerging for now. On the downside as well, there are names and there are volumes as well. So it's not, it's a well-traded session right out of the gates for now. Surabhi.
Yeah. So